Hello, welcome to Maria's Ideas Teaches Us to Paint. This is episode 26 of our volunteer cable TV show that we film for BPTV, which is Bethel Park Cable TV here in Pittsburgh PA. And we film each episode at our art studio, which I share with my husband, who's an artist, Johno Prascak. And the name of our studio is Johno's Art Studio. If you ever wanted to stop by, you can check out our websites and our hours and all of that. So we are in the Southside Slopes. But I do enjoy teaching, and like I said, this is volunteer. I just love to inspire other people, and I know what joy comes from creating, and it's very therapeutic for me as well, and hopefully for you. So if you're skilled artist, that's great. You can maybe just have fun doing this, and if you need maybe some guidance, that's why I'm here, to kind of break things down and simplify it a little bit. So each design I do create for if we have a guest on the show. So I have my co-host Alan Levine, and oftentimes I will have guests on, and the guest inspires the piece. So the person that's going to be on is very connected in many ways in the Pittsburgh area, and you'll have to check back to see who that is. So let's get started here. So what I'm doing on the show, we always paint on 11 by 14. This is just paper, but we usually paint on 11 by 14 canvas panels or boards. So they're stiff. There's not as much bounce. It just seems to work well for viewing purposes and filming. So this is just to represent that same size. You can use whatever you choose. We do use acrylics. You can paint on board. You can paint on canvas. You can paint on paper, whatever you choose, but that's what we use for the show. So I'm using the same size that we do that during our show. And so what I did was, this is the piece that I designed. This is the Pittsburgh skyline, some elements of the Pittsburgh skyline. And if you've ever been here, there are many viewpoints, vantage points, that you will see homes in the same image that you're viewing. The homes, the skyline, the landscape, it's just really wonderful. So that we have a very green city, a lot of trees and things too, but there are many places where the vantage point gives you such a unique view. So okay, so let's see. So we are going to, when I draw on my canvas, sometimes I just start painting, but if you need to draw ahead of time, you can draw something smaller on a piece of paper and then use this grid system. And I can see my paper supposed to be going this way. You can use the grid system, which will scale it up to fit, and you can do this on a wall, you can do this on any size, you can make it smaller, you can make it bigger. So we're going to draw the same amount of squares on this, and that's how that will work. And then if you want to, you can, if you wanted to use a piece of paper, a thin piece of paper that was the same size, and you wanted to draw, you can get, I think I have a piece here, transfer paper, like carbon paper. If you're older like me, you know what that is. You would just draw your design, and that's if it's actual size. You would draw it, place this underneath, right on, trace it on top, and then that design will come out. But that's only if it's actual size. If you want to draw it ahead of time and just to lay everything out and just kind of plan it, this is an easy way to duplicate it and make it larger and keep it easier. So when I draw on this, I'm using a colored pencil so that you can see it. If you can use a regular graphite pencil, you can use watercolor pencil. If you use a graphite pencil, just keep it very light. Watercolor pencils will reactivate and melt, kind of back into your paint. You're using acrylics, so that works out well. But I'm going to do this a little darker just so that you can see it well. So I'm just kind of eyeballing. I never measure. It's art. It doesn't have to be exact. And it doesn't have to look like mine either. I teach at the National Aviary. I do a lot of create a lot of classes for other organizations and businesses and around Pittsburgh. So my goal is to inspire people, get them maybe to learn something new, try something different, but also not to necessarily make it look like my design, but it's their interpretation of it, right? We're all different. That's what's great about, the world. We are all different. So why does our artwork all have to look the same, right? If you get 10 artists and say paint a cat, you're going to have 10 variations of a cat, right? And that's what's wonderful about art. So you can see I have my grid here. They look slightly a little more square here, but again, it doesn't really matter. This is just to help you transfer it onto the paper. So I usually start in the center, and then I typically will find my lines or intersections and go from there. So in this case, I'll start from the center. The heart definitely I want this to be somewhat centered. So I'm going to start with the heart first, whatever space I have left. If you change your buildings, add different buildings, whatever, that will work. But we definitely want to get this heart placed correctly. So I can see that the center of the heart is right here. I'm going to grab a different pencil, different color. So this is the center where the two sides meet, right here, okay? And then this heart, you can even make some little marks here and there. Oop, I blinked my light. You can just put couple little marks on your canvas or board where the high points are. Then on here, it's the outer section, and that's going to come out a little further than this was up. So on mine, it's about an inch here, and it's about a half an inch here and here. Okay, that's for the proportions of the heart. Then it comes all the way down, and this may end up, let's see, this comes all the way down in relation to that one too. This comes pretty far down. It's about a half inch above the bottom. So now you can first do it lightly. You can always make it darker, just lightly in case, just kind of sketch it. So you can also take a piece of paper, actual size is your canvas, fold it in half. We used to do this in grade school. Draw the heart, cut it out, open it, and lay it down. You could do that easy enough too. But this is if you just wanted to draw right on there. So you can see now I'm taking this point and I'm connecting here. And maybe you don't want your heart to be perfectly symmetrical, and that's fine too. All right, so there's our heart. Okay, and you can see when I paint it, I can fix the shape of it or adjust some things. So that's our heart there. And again, I'm doing this darker just so you can see this. Now I'm going to work on the buildings. We also have little stars in the sky. All of these little details, they come in when you paint, not when you draw this. So I am going to start, I'll just work left to right. And this would be like our steel building. So you can see that is above this center line, and it comes almost, it's about 3/4 of the width between the heart and this edge. So I'm going to come up across there, and then I'll come down and just kind of follow. And again, this is for my design. You can create your own and just create it small and then transfer it into a larger piece. And then this is that's the little top of this building. So I'm just coming through, marking everything. This will cover up this edge of the heart. This overlaps it, I should say, not cover up it. It overlaps. And these are just the hints or just the little suggestion of the houses. And even when I paint, I might change a little, and that's fine too. So you can see I'm just kind of coming through. Little chimneys are cute. Add another roof line here, and just play around with it and like I said, this doesn't have to be exactly the same, and it may come out, you may see that once you create it small and you do it larger, you may want to change it up a little bit, and that's okay too. So there we have our skyline on that side. This one, that's our PPG building. This one starts this, we love this, it's like a cat, looks like a castle, comes over to about here, and it's roughly on this, it's about the same width. And so just have our little points. If you ever come to Pittsburgh, if you don't live here, our studio is 2 miles from downtown Pittsburgh. My website is mariasideas.com. My husband's is johnosart.com. And we both like to get involved with different things going on in town and community art projects, and we just like to help fellow artists and inspire people as much as possible. And I've been in business for 43 years now in the same location, and my husband's about 25 years professionally. So we're both just doing our thing, you know. We work hard, but we love it. I've been teaching for about 7 years. I teach at the National Aviary. I've taught classes for multiple classes for the Pittsburgh Penguins and PPG Paints, a lot of different organizations and individuals too, so it's fun. Little Sisters of the Poor, I've been doing that for about 8 years. I volunteer teach there too, so now I'm teaching online and reaching people all over the world, which is really special. So anyway, so there you go. So I just kind of referred back to this, but if you're doing this, you're doing Pittsburgh, you can, like I said, you can just kind of recognize some of these buildings, but everything gets done, all of the details, when you paint it. So the episode is Love Where You Live. That's episode 26. So that will air after we film it. It usually takes 3 to 5 days for them to get it edited, and then I have to upload it on my channel. So each show has the tutorials only on my channel, which is Maria's Ideas Art. If you go to BPTV, if you watch that, it's on a Verizon and a Comcast channel. I'm not sure which ones they are here in Pittsburgh, but they also have a YouTube channel, BPTV. So anyway, thank you for joining us. I hope you'll subscribe and come back and just keep painting and creating, and Happy New Year. Okay, thanks.